Hey guys, welcome back to another vlog. A lot has changed since my last vlog. We welcomed a beautiful baby girl. She was very early. She was 35 weeks, or I was 35 weeks pregnant, and she decided to make an appearance. So she is a premature baby. She is healthy, which I'm so grateful for. So yeah, let's get you caught up. Don't even know where to begin, if I'm being honest. Like, it all happened so quickly. There was zero reason to believe that we would have had her early, just based on like my doctor's appointments and how everything was progressing with my pregnancy. So Taylor and I, on Saturday night, Saturday, April 17th, I had gone over to one of my friend's houses to check out her brand new house that her and her husband just bought together. It was their first house. So I just went over there to have like some appetizers and see the house. And then Taylor, who was golfing with all the boys, and Julie's husband, Andrew, came back to the house after. So they had been obviously drinking all day on the golf course and just having a good time. And I was hanging out with Julie, and we did stay up kind of late because we had ended up ordering food and it just took a really long time for the food to get there. So I didn't leave her house until like 11 at night, which is really late for me being pregnant. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but we went home, and about 4 a.m. that next morning, I woke up because I like felt a little bit of, this might be a little TMI, so I'm sorry if this is like a lot, but I just felt like a little bit of water. And I was asleep in bed, and I was like, maybe I should just go check like and see what that is. Like, again, zero reason to believe that I was, you know, anywhere near labor at this point. And I went into the bathroom just to check, and my water just broke. And it was all over the floor, like so gross. And it had like a slight pink tint to it, which was terrifying because I didn't know. That's actually pretty normal. So I called my doctor and I was like, I thought something was wrong with the baby. And she goes, you are totally fine. Your water's broken. You just have to come into the hospital. So it is 4:30 and I am 35 weeks pregnant, and I think my water just broke. I just called the doctor freaking out, and she was really sweet and just told me to come to the hospital. So we're on the way to the hospital. I have had nothing packed. We literally just packed a bag just now, and now we're headed to the hospital, so we'll see what they say. I'm freaking out at this moment because I am a super type A person. I usually have all of my ducks in order and like everything ready to go. We, that weekend, had just started like finishing getting everything done with the nursery. Like, all of Shay's clothes were just in different piles in my living room ready to be washed, but they weren't washed yet. They were just in different piles. We hadn't packed a hospital bag. We really hadn't done anything because we had planned that weekend. Literally, I wanted to pack my hospital bag on that Saturday and got lazy and was like, oh, I'll just do it on Sunday. It's like not a big deal. Well, yeah, we needed it obviously Saturday night. So anyway, back to the story. My water broke. I wake Taylor up, and he's in like still like a faded mentality, and maybe it just was tired because it was so like early in the morning. And so he was just like, what do we do? And he gets in the shower, which I'm like standing there with like water coming out of me, and I'm like, you can't get in the shower, like we need to go to the hospital. And so he quickly jumps back out, makes a cup of coffee, and then drives us. I swear it was the slowest he's ever driven us. So we get checked in, and we get, oh, by the way, if you hear noises, Shay's napping. I'm filming this while she's napping, so I'm just watching her on this monitor, so please ignore that if you hear it. Anyway, so we get to the hospital, we get all checked in, we get into our room. We're officially in our labor and delivery room. I look really attractive. Taylor, what do you think?
You look hot.
So tired. We like went to a friend's house last night just to like see her new house, and then literally stayed out till like 11, which for me is like a long time. So I'm already just like tired from that. But they don't think my baby's gonna come anytime soon, so I apparently have time to rest. So I guess I gotta get settled in. We start to realize, like, as I'm checked into the room, number one, they check my dilation. I am only 1 centimeter dilated, 0 signs of labor. It's just like a random fluke that my water had broken. We still to this day will not know why or how or what happened with my water breaking so early. They start to notice that every time I stand up to go use the restroom, that Shay's heart rate would start to drop, which is absolutely terrifying. I think I mentioned in a vlog recently that my brother and his wife just gave birth to a baby who had to go to the NICU, was like airlifted to, anyways, I don't want to tell their story because it's a long story and it's not really mine to say. But one of the things that had happened when she was giving birth is that their baby, his heart rate kept dropping. Hey, we are, what time is it, like 1, Taylor?
1:40.
1:40. You can see Taylor over there. Not much has like progressed, I guess. I did have one contraction that was kind of like that I could feel it a bit more. I've been trying to sleep, so I could have had another one while I was sleeping, but right after that contraction, I was trying to get up to use the restroom, and I think either I moved the heart rate thing, or maybe like I just like moved the baby in like a weird way, but she might have been like laying on her umbilical cord funky. So her heart rate dropped for like a second because just something was going on. So 2 nurses like rushed in here, and I had no idea what was going on. I didn't know we had like moved something like wrong, and they looked really concerned. And they started talking about like something about an epidural, and I was like, am I in labor? Like, I'm so confused. Like, I don't feel like I am, but I wasn't. I was just laying awkwardly the baby was laying awkwardly on her umbilical cord. So they flipped me over and fixed it. Like, it was like immediately fixed, and she was fine. But I'm just terrified. I keep flashing back to the stories of what happened with my brother and their baby, and it's just scary. Like, this is all so scary and unknown. But yeah, I'm just in this bed, laying, trying to get comfortable and trying my best to sleep, because they don't think that she's even gonna come today. We don't know she could come today, but likely tomorrow. They may have to induce me to get labor going, but we'll see. I'm just kind of a waiting game now, so I'm just doing my absolute best to relax, which is absolutely hard, and sleep. And I also feel so swollen. Like, I don't know if you can tell, like in this area, I have so many fluids in me. I just feel like my face looks like puffy. But we'll get to meet baby Shay so soon. So basically the doctor or the nurse mentioned that every time I stood up that her heart rate would drop, and so I was on bed rest horizontal for probably like 18 hours. So, and it wasn't even horizontal, I could move wherever I wanted. She only liked, like, her heart rate wouldn't drop when I laid on my like right side. So I basically laid on my right side for almost 18 hours. And let me tell you, it's not like it was painful, but it was the most uncomfortable 18 hours just sitting there waiting for something to happen. I'm worried about this little girl, seeing if she's gonna be okay. Like, you know, once your water breaks, I think they say the safest bet is to have your baby within 24 hours of that. I think there are some exceptions to that in which I've heard some stories that people were on bed rest for like days or like weeks even. So thank goodness I didn't have to do that. But yeah, it was like 18 hours laying on my right side, super, super uncomfortable. And then as the time progressed, I was not progressing in dilation, and they started talking about potentially inducing me.
which they were pretty worried about doing because she was so tiny and she was preemie and just a few other things like with the heart rate and everything, that they were just worried about doing that. But luckily, my body decided to react, and I started having contractions at like, I want to say it was like 9 p.m. Like early contractions. It just felt like more intense period cramps, I guess. I'm talking a lot, but I don't know how else to like explain this story without giving you all the details. Once I started contracting, things escalated very quickly. Like, I swear I went from like 1 centimeter, and it took me a little bit to get to 2 centimeters, but once I got to 2, it was like 2 to 9.5 within, I swear it was like an hour. It could have been longer, but it felt like it happened so quickly. Almost to the point where I wasn't able to get an epidural, and I was like begging for the epidural. She's waking up a bit. I'm trying to like teach her to go back to sleep. And if you ask Taylor, my last contraction, non-medicated, like without the epidural, was like, it was intense. Like, I don't want to scare anyone who's trying to do it naturally, but I commend those of you who do give birth naturally, because that is just not for me. Like, I don't think I ever could do that. Pretty much right after I got the epidural, I went straight into pushing. Get back to the point, Shay was delivered, and I'm again so grateful because she was able to get both of her lung shots, so her lungs were fine. Everything was completely fine with her, even being at 35 weeks, which is kind of like borderline. Is she gonna go to the NICU? Is she not gonna go to the NICU? So they were like really doing all the tests the second she was born to make sure that she was healthy and that she could basically carry her own in this world, and if not, they would take her into the NICU. And she passed all of the tests, all the preemie tests, so we did not have to visit the NICU, which is, we're so grateful for, because I know so many people who have had to go through that, and it's, I'm sure, just heart-wrenching that your baby's like whisked away right away. So then they hand you your baby, and those of you who've been pregnant and given birth before know like how amazing that moment is. Like, you have grown this little life for 9 months, or in my case 35 weeks, and now she's here.
Shay.
And you're holding her in your hands, and my baby was so tiny, you guys. She was born at 4 pounds 13 ounces. Literally, like, they described it to us like a sack of flour. Like, literally, she was that small and weighed that much, like so tiny. And she still is so tiny, which is so crazy. But it's just, I mean, I know like preemies aren't necessarily what people want. They want the full-term baby, but I feel like kind of lucky that I get to see how tiny she was. It is a lot of work though. After I got to hold her for like an hour, I think is what they call it, the golden hour, we handed her to Taylor to do skin to skin with Taylor, which was so funny because Taylor was so tired. He started like dozing off holding her, and I'm like already like high alert, like, we want this baby to be okay. So I was like, maybe you should just hand me to her, or hand her to me, because you look like you're tired and I don't want you to fall asleep holding her. There's not really much else to tell from this story other than the only thing that happened in the hospital that was, I guess, like a red flag for her being premature is she did drop her blood sugar like one time out of all the times they checked her. Her blood sugar was below, I think 50 is where they want it. But all the other times she was fine, so that was good. She passed her car seat test. She was drinking really well from the formula. We were supplementing with formula. I am trying to breastfeed, so my goal right now, I think this is like the second, she's 2 weeks old, a little bit over that right now. And my whole goal is to get my breast milk to increase so that I can fully feed her. Yeah. So I can fully feed her with my own milk. I will say recovery for me personally, just from giving birth, hasn't been that bad, and I'm just going to really be grateful for that as well, because I realized I posted on Instagram the other day at the 2-week mark that I was starting to feel like myself. And a lot of people responded saying that they didn't start feeling like their self until 6 months. And I just didn't realize like that was a norm, like that's probably more of like the normal time frame is like the 6-month mark you start to feel more like yourself. But I will say I gave birth to a very, very tiny baby. So it's not like I was giving birth to a not like 8 or 9 pound baby. I mean, I feel like 9's kind of big, like 7 or 8 pound baby I think is pretty normal. My baby was 4 pounds. So I think that probably helped for me in terms of like recovery. There was no tearing, I know again TMI, but there was no like real trauma other than just her being 4 pounds. So I think maybe that's why. But I also, like, everyone says like sleep is important, and I do like to sleep and I do need my sleep, but I'm not like, I don't sleep obsessively, if that makes sense. Like I don't like live to sleep. No, I don't think anyone lives to sleep. I do need sleep, but it's not like I am a zombie if I don't get it. But I will say the first few days I was tired, but being the type A person that I am, I have scheduled my sleep. In the middle of the day, I make myself take a minimum 1 hour long nap. I think that has really helped me in terms of like recovery, because mentally, I think the first week I was like so emotional because I was so tired, and I would like get on to Taylor for like stupid stuff, you guys. Like it was like dumb stuff. And like I even knew it was. Like it's one of those things where it's like you're so tired that you like know you're being irrational, but you just like don't care and you're just like emotional about it. So yeah, that was like the first, I want to say first 2 weeks, I won't lie, maybe like week and a half. But I feel so much better, and I think it's because I have really focused on sleeping. I also know that a premature baby, while it is a lot of work in terms of like you have to feed them more often, it's a little bit easier because all she does is sleep. She's not really awake pretty much like at all during the day. I mean, she will eat and stay awake for like 10 to 15 minutes and then immediately falls asleep, and then we have to put her to bed because we want her to grow. So her whole thing right now is eating and sleeping, and that's like all she does. So I do feel confident in that I get to learn a little bit about having a baby before she finds her voice, I guess. So we'll see how she progresses, but I'm hoping that she stays a chill baby, because right now she is a chill baby and I'm so grateful, but she's also a very sleepy baby because that's all she knows. She should be in my belly still. So when we did bring her home from the hospital, we got to introduce her to Hobbs.
Hobbs, hi buddy. Hi, Daddy missed you very much. You want to meet your sister?
All right.
Come on up. All right.
How do we do this? She's here. Let's go set her on the couch maybe.
Hobbs didn't really know what was going on because he hadn't seen Taylor and I in a few days. One of our friends was keeping him, and yeah, so he came home excited to see us, and then obviously we had this new thing that he like hasn't seen before, so he was like sniffing her and getting like really interested in what she was doing. So that was really cute. I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog. It's so good to be back on YouTube and to share this brand new baby girl with you guys. If you did like this vlog, I know it was just me chatting with you guys, like you're my friends and we're just hanging out chatting about my birth. Please go ahead and like this video. Please also subscribe to my channel because that would just mean the world to me. And yeah, I guess I will talk to you guys on my next vlog.